Alright guys, we are back for another live stream on the free code camp JavaScript algorithms and data structures course. So let's get this all set up here. Yesterday we finished on where were we? Storing multiples arrays. We were up to nesting arrays, so we'll open that one up just before we get started. Alright, looks like we're live. Awesome. Alright, so last night we finished needed some water, guys, sorry. So last night we looked at one array. We started looking at arrays, that's right. So let's get back into this. So we're going to nest an array within another array. So tells us here what we can do. Create a nested array called myArray. So we can call this myArray is already done for us, so all we need to do is create a nested array within this array. So this two brackets represents the parent array, or the first array. So in here we'll put blue dog. Then we'll do another array, which we can do with this, and we need to do a comma because this will be a second array here. And I need to do two brackets, and in this array we'll do the number 1, 2, and 6. Okay, so we've got one array here, and then another array here. I actually need to put a square bracket there. So we've got an array and another array, blue and dog, inside of an array here. So that will pass. Alright. Next challenge. Access array data with indexes. So what's this asking us to do? Access data inside arrays using indexes. Yes, that's correct. So create a variable called myData and set it to equal the first value of myArray. So this is saying create a variable of R called myData and set that equal to the first value of myArray. So we can call myArray here, and then we can reference the first value using bracket notation, which is what we're doing here. Now don't forget array starts at 0, So we're going for the first element of the array, which is 0. Just turn that music down a little bit. Let me know if it's too loud, guys. Alright, so we can also modify the data within an array as well of an existing array. So this is going to ask us to modify the stored data index 0, which is the first element of the array, of my array, and change it to a value of 45. So currently 0 has a value of 18. We're going to change that to a value of 45. So we're going to do my array oops, 0 equals 45. Okay, and I'll just show you that. So that's taken the myArray variable and taken the 0th element, the first element, and change it to equal 45. So I can show you actually if we go console.log myArray 0 outputting 45 because we've changed it to 45. That's what it's outputting. Right. Access multi-dimensional arrays with indexes. Okay, this is cool. So a multi-dimensional array is, a few minutes ago we did an array within an array. So that's what this is. So you can actually access data from within the child array directly with indexes. So for example here, this array, so array 3 equals this array, which is there. Array 3, 0 is 1, 0, 1, 2. And it's the first element of that array. This array is the first element in there, which is 10, 11, 12. Alright. And then 3, 0, 1 equals 11. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, first element, 1, 0, 1. This one here. Okay. Shouldn't be any spaces between the array name and the square brackets like array space 0. Yes, correct. So you don't space them out, they're always listed as one string. Using bracket notation, select an element from my array such that my data is equal to 8. So we now are going to set my data to equal 8. So we need to find an element within this array that is equal to 8. So I can see 8 here. And 8 is in the, so it's in the my array. So we go my array, and it's in the 0, 1, 2. Alright. And then it's in the 0, 1th position, first 0, 1. Okay, so we'll run that. Complete, perfect. Okay, so we can also manipulate arrays with push. So push is an inbuilt function in JavaScript which allows you to take parameters and then add stuff to the end of the array. So here it's asking us to push, and so push dog3 onto the array myArray. So myArray already has John 23, element 1, element 0, the first element, cat2, the first element, or the second element, but reference 1. So now we're going to do myArray dot push, and we pass in dog3 as an array. So that is an array inside of this array. Alright, so manipulate arrays with pop. So pop will remove elements from an array. So it pops a value off the end of the array. Just like that. So we can store this pop value by assigning it to a variable. In other words, .pop removes the last element of the array and returns it to that element. Yeah, so it takes it basically from the array and can store it locally. So what we could do here, it's asking us to use the pop function to remove the last element from my array. So it's my array dot pop, and that's a function, so we need to pass something in, or we're going to receive it back in this case. And assigning the popped off value to remove from my array. So I actually need to come back here and go removed from my array equals my array.pop. So it's going to pop the last element off of this array my array. So it's going to pop a cat2 off and pass it in to remove my array. Pop always removes the last element of the array. What if you want to remove the first? You can use shift. Shift works exactly like pop, except for it removes the first element, not the last. So this is going to ask us to do the same thing. So we're going to do removed from my array equals my array dot shift. Same thing. Perfect. Cool. Alright, so manipulate arrays with unshift. And unshift actually adds elements to the adds them to the front of the array, like push does. So push adds them to the end of the array, unshift adds them to the start of the array. It's a little bit funny syntax, but that's what we're working with. So we are going to add Paul and 35 as an array, as an element at the beginning of my array using unshift. My array.shift. So all we need to do here is add it with unshift. So we just go my array dot unshift, and we'll pass in PAUL 35, and yes and no, I pass these. Shopping list. Ooh, exciting. Create a shopping list in the variable myList. The list should be a multi-dimensional array containing several sub-arrays. The first element in each sub-array should contain a string with the name of the item, and the second should be the number representing the quantity. Okay, cool. So we can say we'll use their example there. So we can say chocolate bars as a list item for our array, and I'm gonna have 78 chocolate bars because I'm hungry. We also need some milk, and we'll need 5 bars of milk. We need some cheese. And we need 7 blocks of cheese. And why don't we go for something pretty cool? Why don't we go for a hot dog machine? And I think we only need, we'll get 2 hot dog machines, why not? And then we need, last but not least, we will need a chicken nugget maker, whatever that is. And we'll need 3 of those. Can I read property of 7 undefined? Did I miss a bracket element? Chocolate bear, chocolate bar, milk, cheese, okay, that's weird. What if we take that element out? Property of 2. Well, that one's working. Chocolate bar, 78. Sorry guys, so let's go back here. So the reason for that is I have not added commas here to say that these elements reside within this array. So I'll just show you that again. So in here we've got chocolate bar, comma 78, 2 elements in that array. But I wasn't doing commas in between these to get different sub arrays within the master array. Okay. Cool. Write reusable JavaScript with functions. In JavaScript, we can divide our code up into reusable parts called functions. Here's an example function. Okay, so we're looking over here, function called function name, takes in no parameters, and it displays console.log hello world. Exciting stuff. So you can call and invoke a function by using the name followed by a parentheses, like function name. Each time the function is called, it will print out the message hello world. Correct. All of the code between the curly brackets or curly braces will be executed every time the function is called. Yes, correct. Cool. Create a function called, so we're going to create a function called reusable function, which prints hello world to the dev console. Console.log hello world. Okay, that should do it. Oh, okay, my mistake. It should print hi world, not hello world. Hi world. Call the function. Okay, guys, sorry, I'm rushing through this a little bit. So I've created my function, and now I need to call the function. So I'm going to do reusable function. We did it. Alright. Passing values to the function with arguments. So yeah, you could have a function that might have, you might need to process some data or manipulate some data, so you can pass parameters in to the function for them to be processed or manipulated. So we can create a function called function with args that accepts two arguments and outputs their sum to the dev console. Cool. Call the function with the two numbers as arguments. Alright, cool. So we're going to do a function, and the function is called function with args. Oops. And that function takes in two parameters. Does it matter what it takes in? It accepts two arguments. We'll just call it A and B. Okay, and then we can open the curly braces and we can say, you know what, I'm actually gonna practice showing you how to comment code as well. So here, actually should do a comment here to say a function that takes two inputs and adds them together. It will print the sum of both numbers to the console. Okay, so this is obvious. This is not very, not a very, I guess, advanced function, but commenting, if this was a very advanced function, comments really go a long way as you're reading through, especially if you're working on someone else's code or your code's going off to someone else to be worked on. So here I'm going to write the first thing we will do is add the two numbers that have been passed to the function. So we say, what's it asking us to say? 2 arguments and outputs this onto the. Okay, so we can just do console.log a plus b, because this is going to say a and b are going to be passed in to the function, and then it's going to process a and b saying a plus b. It's going to give that result. To the so now we're going to do we're going to call the function, so we're going to call our function with args, and we're going to pass in 2 values. We'll pass in 12 and 67. And then we're going to test that. Oh, we've got an issue, sorry. What have we got here? Function takes into input. Oh, sorry, we did a colon after that. I'll go like that. Okay. And then we can already see the answer here is 79, but just for simplicity, I'll make this 5 and 10. So 15. So run that. That's it. So that's how basic function works. Okay, so global scope of functions in JavaScript scope refers to visibility of variables. Yes, correct. So variables which are used without the var keyword are automatically created in the global scope. This can create unintended consequences elsewhere in your code or when running functions again. Always declare variables with var. Yeah, correct. So using var, declare a variable named myGlobal. So what's this say? Assign 5 to global here. Declare the myGlobal variable below this line. So var myGlobal. That's a global variable. And outside of any function, initialize it with a value of 10. So that equals 10. And then inside function fun1, assign 5 to global without using the var keyword. So that means we go global. I don't think that's what's going to happen here. Equals 5. So why are they asking us to do this? Let's have a look. So we've got my global variable is 10, and the global has been set to 5 as we've been asked to do, and then fun2 variable output. If the type of my global is undefined, output my global string and then the my global. If type of global is not undefined, output global. Console.log output. Okay. Yep, so that's fine. Variables which are declared with local scope and functions. Oh yeah, so you can use a local variable within a function. So it basically means that you would only use them within the function. So this is handy when you want to process data that's been passed into a function. You might within a function use some variable name that makes sense. You don't want it to be a global variable, you only want it to be available for use within the function itself. So in this example, loc is not defined outside the function, it's only within the function. So it's going to come out with an error when you do this. Alright, declare a local variable myvar. So if you want a local variable, it needs to be within the function, which is here. We're inside the function, so we can do myvar. And initialize. Declare it. I'll just declare it. Run the test and follow the instructions commented out in the editor. Undefined. Myvar is not defined. Run and check the console. Myvar is not defined outside of my local scope. Now remove the console log line to pass the test. Well, that was easy. Told us what to do. Alright, so global versus local scope in functions. This is within inside of a function. So you can have a variable outside of a function called sumVar and one inside of a variable with the same name but a different value. So in this case, sumVar will return head because it's inside the local function here. So my outfit, it says add a local variable to my outfit function to override the value of outerwear. So we can do var outerwear equals sweater, or as we call them in Australia, jumper. Should be able to run that. What's the issue here? var outerwear. So we can see outerwear is defined within the function as sweater. That's why that works. Alright, so we can return a value from a function with return. Correct. So we can pass a value into the function with arguments, and you can return something with a return statement that sends a value back out of the statement. So create a function called times5 that accepts one argument, we'll call it a, multiplies it by 5 and then returns it. So we can say function takes in a, we can say var my number equals a times 5. Okay, and then we can return my number. And I'm going to mistake here because that should be in capital, so I'm going to try to keep to that. And that's it. So what's happened there is we've taken in a value of a. It's processing that by saying my number. Oops, I've given it a variable called my number, and it's taking a and timesing it by 5 and then returning that back out from the function. So understanding it. Undefined value returned from a function. So a function can include a return statement but does not have to. In the case the function does not have a return statement, when you call it, the function processes the inner code but the return value is undefined. So if you don't have a return statement, so add sum is a function without a return statement. The function, okay, create a function, add 5. Add 5 without any arguments. Okay. The function adds 5 to the sum variable. So same, sum equals, we can actually do plus equals 5, which means the sum, this is the same as writing sum equals sum plus 5. You're not going to write sum equals sum plus 5, you just write sum plus equals 5. Alright, we should be able to write, but its return value is undefined. Yeah, so we don't have a return statement, so it'll be undefined, but sum will be processed here. Yeah, right, cool. If you recall from our discussion of storing values with assignment operator, everything in the right is equal to the right of the equal sign is resolved before the value is assigned. This means we can take the return value of a function and assign it to a variable. Assume we have a predefined function called sum, which adds two numbers together. Then our sum equals sum 5, 12, which adds two numbers together. Our sum equals, using the math ballot. Oh yeah, okay. Sum of 5 and 12. We'll call sum function, the sum function, which return a value of 17 and assigns it to our sum variable. Call the process arg function with an argument of 7 and assign its return value to a variable process returns. Oh, so it does return. So we can change our variable processed equals process arg 7. So this is saying I've already got my processed variable. It's saying that it equals the function, so it's calling the function of process arg and sending a 7, getting it processed, returning it, and then it becomes the value of the processed variable. Cool. Okay. Standing line computer science. A queue is an abstract data structure where items are kept in order. New items can be added to the back of the queue and old items taken off from the front of the queue. Write a function next in line. Okay, so let's start with that. Oh, they've already given us that. Which takes an array and a number item as arguments. Add the number to the end of the array. Then remove the first element of the array. The next in line function should then return the element that was removed. Okay, cool. This is a bit of a challenge, I think. So we've got our next in line function. It takes an array and an item as arguments. Add the number to the end of the array. So that's array dot push, and we're going to push in item. And you can see that's outputted here. It's pushed 6 to the end of the array. add the number to the end of the array, then remove the first element of the array. The next in line function should also return the element that was removed. So we could say variable removed element equals dot. Where are we removing? Remove the first element of the array. Pop. Shift. I think we had shift. Yeah, shift takes the first element away. And we're saying removed element equals array.shift, and we're going to return the removed element. I think that'll work. Correct, but I want to change something. See this line here? I didn't actually have to write this here. I think I can go. I think I declare the can I do this? Let's just try this. Can I just put this here? So it's returning the array.shifted number. Same thing. So I just saved the line of code. Woohoo! Saved the line of code. Cool. Alright, let's go to the next one. Understanding Boolean values. So Boolean values are true or false. So basically little on and off switches. True is on, false is off. Oh. Excuse me. Boolean values are never written with quotes. The strings true and false are not Boolean. They have no special meaning. So it's no quotations. Modify the welcome to Booleans function so that it returns true instead of false. Return false. Return true. Okay. Conditional logic with if statements. Alright, now we're getting into the good stuff. So if statements in JavaScript are basically if, then conditions in brackets here, and then if that condition is met, if it's true, this is executed, else it won't. Create an if statement inside the function to return yes, that was true. So return string yes. Can you return? So we're saying function true or false. Oh, we haven't even written the if statement, sorry. If, what's it asking us? I need to read these questions better. If statement inside the function to return if was that true is true. If was that true, equals true, then return yes, that was true. Otherwise, outside of the function, it's return false. True or false, true should return yes, that was true. True or false, true, yes, that was true. If was that true equals true. Return yes, that was true. I'm an idiot. So, yes. That was true. False. So we say if was that true equals true. Return yes, that was true. Otherwise return no, that was false. True or false, false. Was that true equals false. That's my fault. I didn't read properly. So, sorry guys. With Boolean, because it's true or false, it only evaluates, it only wants the result. So if the result is that it's true, then no matter what, this statement will always run. If this statement is true. If this statement is true, then this already gets passed as true. Comparison with equality. Yes, so equals equals. It returns them if they're equivalent or false. There's also a triple equals, which I think validates on type as well. Whereas the doubles could validate a, yeah, like here, 1 and 1 to be true, because they're the same, even though they're not. That's why I use triples. Inequality operator indicator lines that the function will return equal. Test equal 10. If value equals 10, change this line. Test equal 10 should return not equal. Cool. Add the quality operator in the indicator line so the function will return equal when val is equivalent to 12. Oh. Okay. I really need to read these questions better. Yeah, this is it. Strict equality triple. So use a strict equality operator in the if statement so that the function will return equal when the value is equal to 7. The numerical value is 7. If comparing different values, so you can learn about the equality operator and the strict equality operator. Oh guys, I have to call it a night. A little bit more. No, I'm gonna call it. Oh yeah, you can use type of, that's right. The compare equality function in the editor compares two values using equality operator. Modify the function so that it returns equal only when the values are strictly equal. So that was almost the same question twice. Anyway. So comparison inequality, which is an exclamation mark before the equals, means does not. So 1 does not equal 2 is true. 1 does not equal 1 is false because 1 does equal 1. And 1 equals true, so that's false. Yep, cool. Add an inequality operator in the if statement. Value does not equal is not 99. Perfect. Strict inequality is double, so it's exclamation and then double equal sign. So 3 does not equal 3 with a double is true because this is a string, not a numerical value, an integer. So here we're going to do again when it's not equal to 17. Comparison with the greater than. Okay, these are pretty cool. So greater than, less than symbols here. I'm assuming that's what we're going to be doing. Add the greater than operator so that the indicator lines return a statement to make sense. Change this line. If value is greater than 100, return over 100. If value is greater than 10, or return. And same thing, I'm assuming this is saying 20 or over. So this one is if it's greater than or equal to 20, and here is if it's greater than or equal to 10. And here is if it's less than 10. So same thing, you can do greater than or equal to. I'm rushing now. 20. I'm gonna add the values that we're comparing against. Less than's the same. So if the value is less than 25, if the value is less than 55. And the same thing, you can do less than or equal to, so if the value is less than or equal to 12, less than or equal to 24, and what do we got here? Logical operators. Sometimes. Alright, 5 more minutes. Sometimes when you use more than one thing at a time, the logical operator and returns true if and only if the apparends to the left. Yeah, so here you can compare two things at once. So if value, so asking, replace the two statements with one statement using and. If value is less than 50 and less than or equal to 50 and greater than, if it's less than, or if it's greater than or equal to 25. Return yes. If value is less than greater than or equal to 25, sorry. And logical operator or here, so combine the two if statements to make one. So straight away. I think we need that. Oops. Oh, come on. Close it. Alright, so if value is not between 10 and 20 inclusive, otherwise, so if it's not between 10 and 20, so it's inside if it's between 10 and 20. If value is less than or equal to 10 or the value is greater than or equal to 20, it will return outside. Otherwise, if it's between those two, it will return inside. Logical 10 should return inside. Didn't it say inclusive? Is not between 10 and 20 inclusive. If else, okay. Alright guys, I think I'm going to finish it up there for tonight. We've been going an hour now, so we will go again tomorrow night. I'll create another part 3. We are up to introducing else statements, so how far through are we here? Introducing else statements, so we're down here. So we've still got a few to go. We probably will be able to knock that off tomorrow night, assuming we don't have anything too difficult come up. So I will I'll be back here at the same time tomorrow. We'll finish off and then we'll move on to the next section. Alright, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow night.